Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, good morning and welcome to our time of worship this morning. I can't believe that it is Stir Up Sunday, the final Sunday before the season of Advent begins. But it is. And so we're going to spend some time thinking about Stir Up Sunday today, as well as some sung worship and some prayers.
And we'll be hearing more testimonies about people's hopes and fears and tips for surviving a second lockdown. And we've got some more ideas to inspire creativity, as well as Beat the Kids and some lovely reflections on gratefulness that people have sent in for us.
This morning, Nina's going to be bringing us some really challenging thoughts from the Word based on the story of Jesus and the leper, and we'll have an animated telling of that story too. So let's pray. Father, we just pray that this next hour or so will be a time of blessing and encouragement, and that you would stir us up to be the very best that we can be as we seek to live for you in the world. Come and meet with us, we pray, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Stir up in me love, that I may be more loving. Stir up in me joy, that I may bring more joy. Stir up in me peace, that I may be a peacemaker. Stir up in me patience, that I may be more patient. Stir up in me kindness, that I may be kinder. Stir up in me goodness, that I may bring out the best in others. Stir up in me faithfulness, that I may be more faithful. Stir up in me gentleness, that I may be more gentle. Stir up in me self-control, that I may put others before myself. Stir up in us, your church, the fruits of the Spirit, that we may each enrich the lives of others. Amen.
And so some words from Paul's letter to Timothy. Therefore, I remind you to stir up the gift of God which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Other versions talk about fanning the flame, fan into flame the gift that's within you. We've used the New King James Version, which talks about stirring up the gift. Fanning, stirring. One word about disturbing the air, the fanning word, and the other word, to stir, is about agitating a mixture, disturbing what's going on in a particular context, a disturbance, an interruption. Whether we talk about fanning the flame or stirring up the gift, we're talking about the possibility of transformation. Most of this stuff begins with listening to God. Someone once said, the trouble with listening is you don't know what you're going to hear until it's too late. And so this Advent, I wonder if we have the courage to ask the Spirit to disturb us, to agitate us, to stir up, to fan into flame as we find space to connect with God. I want to say a big thank you to Kevin and Sarah. They've recorded some music for us. The tune Hereford, the old hymn, O Thou Who Camest from Above. The third verse was really the words that spoke to me. Jesus, confirm my heart's desire to work and speak and think for thee. I wonder what that looks like for us in our lives at the minute. What ways are we working for the kingdom, speaking for the kingdom, thinking about the ways the kingdom might come? Jesus, confirm my heart's desire to work, speak, think for thee. Still, let me guard the holy fire, fan into flame, and still stir up the gift in me. And may the Spirit disturb, agitate, stir up, speak, as we share this beautiful marriage of words and music just now.
Hello, my name's Rachel and I'm just going to be talking you through 5 things in our home and garden that I am grateful for, because they all make life really interesting and comfortable, and I'm grateful to God for each one of them. The first one is our beautiful bed, and the headboard is my favourite colour, which is the colour purple. Moving on, we're going to go downstairs. And this is another thing that I am grateful for, because every day when I need to get anything from upstairs, then I need to get exercise on the stairs, and also I pass past cuddly toys, which is great fun. Moving into the kitchen, the oven is another important part of something that I am grateful for, and I really enjoy having meals with my family and spending time with them. And I do like a cup of either boiling water or herbal tea, or cup of tea or coffee, and just spending time with family and friends, and with family at the moment in lockdown 2, and normally I love having family and friends round and spending time with them. And along with that, I really enjoy VW combis. It takes me back to my childhood in Kenya, when we had a superb VW combi, registration plate KKA222, and so this cup and the glass mat here that I use for chopping is also something that I am grateful for, because it means we can have the water to boil in the kettle and the cup to actually serve the drink in, and then the cutting board to actually prepare food. That came as one item, so it was the bed, the stairs, the oven, third item, kettle fourth, and then this is the fifth item with the board as well. Thank you, bye.
We're very grateful that we have Astro in the garden because it means that the children can come outside to play every day, no matter what the weather is, and they don't bring mud inside, which I'm very grateful for. The second thing we're very grateful for is Dean's office, which he converted from the garage in the summer, and it means that he can work full-time at home during lockdown without us disturbing him, and he doesn't get in my way in the day either. The third thing we're really grateful for is all the children's devices. It just means that especially during lockdown, they were still able to be entertained at home and still be connected with their friends, and it just gives them lots of entertainment and fun when they can't go to their normal clubs and see their normal friends. The fifth thing I'm grateful for is my lovely, comfortable, reclining sofa. To me, this symbolises comfort and rest, and it's my little happy place where I can sit down after a busy day and just enjoy a bit of relaxation. The fourth thing that I'm grateful for is my dining table, because it's a place where we can all sit down at tea time, and no matter how busy we've all been in the day, we just get to be together as a family, and we can enjoy each other's company and enjoy the food that we have and that we're really grateful for.
Father God, you are loving and kind. You care for us and provide all we need. Give us thankful hearts so that we can appreciate your goodness and be grateful for every blessing you give to us. Give us an attitude of gratitude and a spirit of generosity that we might share your blessings with others, and remember to thank you for who you are, what you do, and all that you have given to us. Amen.
The Christmas story starts here in Nazareth with a girl called Mary. She is promised in marriage to Joseph, who was a descendant of King David. Mary was busy working one day when an angel came to her. "Peace be with you. The Lord is with you, and he has greatly blessed you." Mary was a little worried and wondered what this meant. The angel said, "Don't be afraid, Mary. God has been gracious to you. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High God."
Hello. I've been reminded in the last week by someone in my family it's only 4 more weeks till Christmas. How exciting. Now I thought I'd better start some preparations. So I went up into my wardrobe today and got something out that I only wear at this time of year. And if you know me, you would have seen me wearing this because I've had it for 8 years. I wonder if you can guess what it is. I'm sure you've got one at home. It's my Christmas jumper. It's red and sparkly, and when I put it on, I know we're very close to when we're celebrating Jesus' birth. So I'm going to put it on now, and I know I'll begin to feel a lot more Christmassy. So I've started my preparations. I've got my jumper ready. But I don't just need to prepare things like my jumper or my tree. I need to start preparing myself to celebrate Jesus' birth. And I'm thinking about the story we've just heard where the angel comes and visits Mary. And she tells Mary the news. She's going to have a baby, but not just any baby. She's going to have God's own son. And Mary's response always amazes me. She trusts the angel completely. She doesn't question the angel. She trusts that God has got an amazing plan for her. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to keep thinking about Mary and that trust she places in God for her future plans. So perhaps when things don't always go to my plan, or things don't happen when I want them to, I'm going to try and remember Mary's trust and how we can trust in God, because he has good plans for me and for you. Well, I hope you enjoy your preparations over the next week. Take care.
Spin the wheel of faces. Watch how fast the buzzer turns.
Hello, and welcome to Beat the Kids. Now this week, we disappear into an art hole as we look at some fine portraiture. Now I wouldn't know a canaletto from a canna lilt, so I've pulled in a few favours and got 3 heavyweights of the art world to cast their eye over the portraits.
It looks at first glance rather unsophisticated, but there's a lot of blending and mixing going on to build that sense of character in the face. Fascinating.
There is this sense of longing or connectedness, but it's all done in a very elegant way, very economical and to the point.
You've really caught that kind of pensive look in Paul's eyes. She's completely caught Paul in the hair, and that lovely, luscious colour that she's using in the background. An incredibly promising young artist. I feel like Josh probably needed double the time again, but it is a powerful portrait.
It definitely has this sort of religious quality to it. The likeness is not quite there, is it?
There's a lot to be read into this face.
But what I love is the vigour and energy that you get with the use of the pen and the pencil and the delicateness that he can achieve with it.
I love this painting by Paul. There's lots of layering and strange colours put over each other, but there's also a story there, and I want to see what happens next. It's like he's trying to work out, am I an artist, am I not an artist? At the same time, the graphic neatness creates a sort of tension between what it's like to be a painter, to be in control, but also out of control. I feel like it's a man escaping to the bathroom and the paraphernalia of life just being there while he has a moment to breathe, really. And I suppose sometimes men feel like that within the dynamics of the family. He's an artist not afraid to put pen to paper. It's got a sort of ruggedness to it. The t-shirt is just a tour de force, and it's done in a nice loose manner.
It's a strong monochrome work. And also the complicit understanding between the sitter and the artist that the portrait suggests. She was able to get this sort of cheeky little knowing look.
Congratulations, old people, you're catching up at last. Let's see who the spinny wheel of doom picks out this week.
Spin the wheel of faces. Watch how fast the buzzer turns.
You must stack the biggest number of objects one on top of the other and send your videos in to me. That's it. Good luck. Sing along if you know the words.
got something rather spiritual about it in a very strange way. Am I? Yes, okay, neither of you agree.
I know what you mean. I get that.
Over recent months and throughout lockdown, I've been quite creative. I guess I'm quite a creative person usually anyway. Often can be found doodling or drawing or painting or making something. I'm not particularly someone who likes to sit still, which I think drives my family mad, but I've always got something on the go. But over lockdown, perhaps I've done some extra stuff, some new stuff. I've obviously been putting the worship together each week for our online worship, so bringing the graphics and videos together for that. So that's been fun. We also decided to rip out our bathroom and put a new one in, so I've even done some tiling and plumbing, so learned some new skills along the way too. I've also tried, for the first time, a little bit of hairdressing, though that didn't go quite so well, so I don't think I'll be doing that again. But I've also done some of my more kind of normal stuff. I particularly love to draw and paint wildlife, so I've done some of that. I like to take Bible verses and passages and bring those to life through illustration. At the beginning of the first lockdown, I had the words of the song Waymaker very much in my mind, so I did a little illustration, a little doodle to bring those to life. I also decided that I wanted to decorate a pair of shoes. So I got a pair of white pumps and doodled away basically whatever kind of came into my mind. But I also included some Bible verses and kind of words of hope onto those. I also doodled on the front of one of my Bibles and did a little bit of painting inside that as well.
Hello everyone. My hopes for lockdown are that we will all be kind and considerate to everyone that we meet, that we will obey the rules and that will be sufficient to stop the virus from spreading, so that soon a successful vaccine can be given to everyone and that COVID-19 will be wiped out. Even more than that, I pray that during this difficult time, everyone in the world will hear about Jesus in some way or another and give their lives to him. That would be great, wouldn't it? My fears are that the lockdown is not enough and the pandemic gets much worse. However, God is in control, and whatever we go through, he will be there for us. In Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 and 20, it says, "Lo, I am with you always, even to the ends of the world." Wow, maybe that's it. Maybe that's his plan. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it was time for the second coming, for Jesus to return and take us all to be with him in heaven? I do hope that you're ready, and make sure that all your family and friends are ready too. There's a lovely chorus that we used to sing many years ago. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. I hope you'll be there. A survival tip for us is that we do whatever we can to help others. Now, you're probably watching this on YouTube or some other technical gadget. Instead of getting bored with watching old films and television programs, how about watching online Salvation Army services or music or from previous congresses and special gatherings that have taken place? There's lots of things on there to be able to watch, and I'm sure that churches have done similar things as well. So you could also have Zoom and FaceTime with family and friends in all parts of the world. I found it wonderful to have a ping on my iPad and it's been my niece or nephew from Australia or my grandson from America. The world has seemed much smaller, hasn't it, since this lockdown situation. I do pray that you will keep in touch with your family and your friends in whatever means is available to you. Perhaps it's just the telephone, but at least you can keep in touch. God bless you all.
Good morning, everyone. Louise has asked me if I'd say a few words about my fears during lockdown. And I think really the only fear I can think of is fear of fear itself, because I'm so aware of what fear can do. And I think that fear of, especially at the moment, while we've been absolutely bombarded with such awful news, such negative news for months and months now, it can be so depressing. And for us, the church, I think the fear of people saying to us, why is God allowing this, could cause us to be so fearful that could almost paralyze us, that we no longer act for Jesus, that we no longer feel we have the courage to speak out for Jesus. We no longer have the courage to share the good news of the gospel. And that does make me fearful, the thought that we could be in that position. And so, you know, I'm so thankful for, particularly for Cat Beavers and the team, that they are still there with the messy church bags and showing God's love to the community here. Because we can't allow fear to paralyze us or silence us. When I was first a Christian, I remember when I first started to seriously read the Bible and try to understand exactly what God was saying into my life. I came across a little word, I think it's Sheila, and I had to have it explained to me, and I was told that it meant to pause and to meditate. And that got me really thinking about lockdown, because it's like we've been forced into a pause from what we consider to be normal life. But God has allowed it. What does that mean for us as the church, as his people? He's allowed it. And I thought, well, if it's a pause, does he want us to meditate? As I was told, Sheila, the pause meant meditate on what you've just read. Meditate on the word. What is it that God is wanting just now? And during lockdown, that's one of the things I've been trying to do, is reevaluate my own life. Look at my own life in the light of all that Jesus has said. And it's not been a pretty picture, really, to be honest, especially when I know that Jesus has said, love your enemies. Love your enemies. And during lockdown, I think most of us have been with our nearest and dearest. And although we think of our enemies as maybe somebody who's completely unlike us and a stranger, I often think the most difficult relationships we've got are quite the closest ones. The ones who are with us all the time, who see us when we're tired and we're irritable and we don't feel well and we're hungry and we're impatient and we're pressured. And so it got me thinking, who's my enemy? And if I can't love the people that I live with, the people in my family, in the way that Jesus wants me to, then, you know, perhaps I do need to be here reading the word, meditating on the word. Well, that's all about my fears, but my hopes are far more positive. Recently I put on the church Facebook page that I was praising God for the new vaccines, and I do, and I'm thinking positively about them. But the new vaccines are one thing. I still believe that the only permanent healing for mankind and for creation itself is in the message of the cross and God's grace. And so many people out there need to hear it. You know, especially Salvation Army, I think of, you know, right from the beginning, it was to save the lost. And we must not allow fear to paralyse us into reaching out to those people. We really must not. And I just wanted to end on a more positive note. I'm sorry if I sound a bit down, but I'd just like to say, Hebrews 10 tells us, let us hold fast to the confession of our faith. Don't let fear paralyse us or silence us. What God has done for us in Jesus more than covers, more than gives us. We are not victims, we are victors. Let us stand up for our faith. And no matter how things look, Jesus has been faithful, God has been faithful. He was there long before any pandemic, any war, any political disturbance in this world. He's been a faithful God since time immemorial, and let's put our faith in him. And in the words of the old song, onward Christian soldiers.
Hello, I'm Trish, as a lot of you know. My hopes for lockdown is knowing that nothing lasts forever. Just some things take longer than others. And we have to be patient, as we have to believe this, even though it seems forever at the moment. We all need hope. Hope that things will get better, hope for mental healing, and hope that people believe God will be with them. Also hope for the success of the vaccines. My fears are that lockdown may continue after December the 3rd in order to keep us safe and that would mean too many people will spend Christmas alone. In this case, I'm lucky that I'm in a family bubble. And then my Bible verse is Romans 15, verse 13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. And my survival, remember, God will be with every one of us all the time while we are going through these turbulent times. Try to keep positive thoughts. Start each new day with positivity. God bless you all. Amen.
Hi, I've been asked to share my hopes and fears about lockdown. My fear is that this lockdown won't be as effective as the last one, and in bringing COVID cases down, and therefore it might get extended, and I worry about the effects that would have on everyone. My hope and prayer is that this vaccine will be safe and effective and be rolled out efficiently. My survival tip would be to find Bible verses that really help you, read them out loud, memorize them, say them out loud to yourself over and over again if necessary. And on that note, my Bible verse for today is Isaiah 41 verse 10, and it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand."
I can't say that I have any fears for myself personally, but what most concerns me is how the elderly and other family members in care are unable at the present time to see and enjoy the families who love them. So my hope is that this situation will be addressed and changed in the very near future. I visit an elderly lady on a Saturday who lives alone, and the last couple of months has seen a real deterioration in her mental health, and she's now decided to move into a care home, which is sad. A Bible verse that has been really helpful to me is in Psalm 68 verse 19. "Praise be to the Lord, to God our Saviour, who daily bears our burdens." That is just so brilliant. Every day I can ask God's help. He won't get tired of me sharing all my stuff with him. And the verse says he bears our burdens. We don't need to struggle under the weight of things. He has the power and desire to help in whatever way we need him, every day. My survival tips, if you're finding things hard at the moment: fill your mind with the goodness of God. Remember how he has been there for you in the past. Have a verse to go to that will reassure you when you're worried, like Psalm 16 verse 8. "I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be shaken." Listen to a lovely praise song like "The Goodness of God" by Bethel Music. The chorus says, "'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God." So let's keep trusting and praising. Thank you.
and I will rise on eagle's wings. Come live in me all my life. Take over. Come breathe in me, and I will rise on eagle's wings. Come live in me all my life. Take over. Come breathe in me, and I will rise on eagle's wings. Come live in me all my life. Take over. Come breathe in me, and I will rise on eagle's wings, and I will rise on eagle's
Hi, I'm Nina, and Ian has asked me to say some words with the title, There's This Thing That Jesus Said. So in Matthew 8, I'd like to talk about there's this thing that Jesus said. 3 short words, I am willing. I'll just read it to you in context. If you can, take a few minutes to maybe move away from the boiling kettle or the lunch that's cooking, and just listen to these words from Matthew 8, and just put yourself perhaps in that picture and just say, who am I identifying with in this picture? Am I identifying with the crowds? Am I identifying with the leper? Am I identifying with Jesus? The verse says this: large crowds followed Jesus as he came down the mountainside. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him. Lord, the man said, if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean. Jesus reached out and touched him. I am willing, he said. Be healed. Instantly, the leprosy disappeared. So just that question again, who do you identify with in that story? The large crowds, the man with leprosy, or Jesus? If you're part of the large crowd, you'll have been up the mountainside. You'll have heard Jesus talking to his disciples and wondering, perhaps, are these words for you too? Are they just for the disciples? Are they words that actually you would even want to have anything to do with? Or maybe they've strangely warmed and stirred your heart. Words such as God blesses those who are poor and realise their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Or God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. or more challenging words such as, if you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Or counterintuitively, you've heard Jesus say, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. So what do you do with those words if you're in the crowd and you've heard Jesus say that? Or perhaps you're identifying with the man with leprosy. You're feeling isolated, you're feeling alone, you're feeling like you're not worthy of coming near Jesus, you're feeling ostracized, you're feeling judged. Suddenly a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean. You shouldn't have been even in that camp. You shouldn't have gone near the community, because by Levitical law, you have been ordered to stay away from people because your disease is contagious. They don't want to catch your disease. And not only have you broken the law by coming into the crowds, you're asking Jesus to break the law by communicating, by engaging with you, because you're not allowed to engage with the community, with family, with friends. You are on your own with your disease, and that's the way the law says you should stay. So there's something though that drew you to Jesus, something that you knew if you came close to him, he wouldn't turn you away like the other people would. Or perhaps you identify with Jesus and Jesus reaches out his hand and says, I am willing, be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappeared. You are willing to break the rules, to do the things that other people are perhaps going to judge you for. You're willing to move outside of the box, to reach out to people, to do things that would be considered unwise, that would be considered wrong, to reach out and bring healing to people's lives. So, as I read the passage again, just consider maybe, what is God stirring up in you? Are you part of the crowd that perhaps needs to respond to some of those things you've heard Jesus say? If you are kind only to your friends, what's so great about that? If you're only willing to let people in so far and no further, how is that any different from anybody else? Or if you're feeling isolated and alone, and you are staying isolated and alone because you feel nobody loves you and you are not worthy of love, and therefore why even try? Perhaps there's a stirring to say, do you know what? I am worthy of love, and I am going to try, and I am going to open my heart to be healed. Or perhaps you're identifying with Jesus, and there is that challenge to break the rules of the religious leaders, of the laws, to do that something that's outside of the box to see people healed. So the verse says, large crowds followed Jesus as he came down the mountainside. Are you in that crowd? Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him. "Lord," the man said, "if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean." Are you identifying with the courage of that leper? Or with Jesus, who reached out and touched him and said, "I am willing, be healed." And instantly the leprosy disappeared. And we read in Luke about how this story spread far and wide and how many came to Jesus because of this action. And we wonder today how we can tell people about how God can heal them, how God can comfort them in the most difficult of situations, how God can love them. But he's asking us to be his hands and feet. He's asking us to have the courage of the leper to be changed ourselves. And he's asking us to hear what he's saying and maybe to apply it to our own lives in a radical way. And as we do, maybe we'll see not just ourselves changed, our circumstances changed, our families changed. We'll see the world change in a way we hadn't believed. So I'll leave these thoughts with you for God to stir up in you as only you and God know about. Thank you for listening.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in